We're here in Plains, Georgia, obviously the home of Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter. And whether you liked him as a president or you didn't like him as a president or you have no feelings about him as a president, I think every presidential story is interesting, whether it's Ronald Reagan or Jimmy Carter or George Washington or Abe Lincoln. So he was our 39th president. Obviously from 1977 to 81, and he grew up in this little town here. And when you see what you see behind me is, I love it, they have the old banner there, Jimmy Carter for president. And I'll just turn the camera this way. You can still see that it's a town built on peanuts, and they still do a lot of peanut storage there, and peanuts, Plains peanuts and grain, and those silos there are all full of peanuts, and those red carriages there, those are full of peanuts too. So it's a town built on peanuts, the peanut industry. And here is the town of Plains, and it's just a block long, the town center. There's one little coffee shop there called the Buffalo Cafe, and there's the Jimmy Carter banner that they still have, our 39th president. And right underneath that banner, that building there, is where Jimmy Carter, where his father, Earl Carter, ran the peanut business. When he died, I believe his father died in 1953, Jimmy Carter had to give up his naval career, or he decided to. And much to Rosalind's discontent, she did not want to give up traveling. She didn't want to come back to Plains. I read in the museum that she was angry with him for about a year when he came back here. I think he was fine with coming back here and giving up his naval career to run the family peanut business, but she was not. She wanted to stay traveling and living in different parts of the world. So that building there is right where his father ran the peanut business. And then when he died in I believe it was 1953, Jimmy Carter came back to Plains and decided to take over the business. And then also from that building is where he started his political campaign. He got involved in local politics. And really amazing that a president could come from such a tiny town. And he started his campaign there for the Senate, and then he went on to become governor, and then obviously eventually president. But it's a very cute town. I love it. They've got a few antique stores. We'll go in there later. There's one store that sells a lot of old badges and political badges, all different presidents. And then I'm just going to swing around here, and you can have a look at the Phillips 66 station there, and that is where that's the gas station that his brother Billy used to run, Billy Carter, who always seemed a bit different to me than Jimmy Carter. Billy Carter was a lot rougher around the edges, I guess. Oh, and it still says Billy Carter service station there. Wow, I'm so glad they kept the sign. I'll just zoom in there. Right by that light pole is walk a little bit over here. Billy Carter service station is still there. Obviously it's not in use anymore, but I'm glad they kept the building and the sign and the Phillips 66 sign as well. So here we are in Plains, and this is the extent of the town. We'll show footage later. Right there on the right is the historic Plains Inn, which actually Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter helped to refurbish and decorate and bring back to life, and now it's a great place to stay. That's where we're staying, and it's I think there's only about 6 or 7 rooms, and they're all really nice rooms. They're decorated in different eras with antique furniture. It's really a cute place, very inexpensive too. So that's the Plains Inn there, the building on the right. And it's run by the woman on the ground floor that runs the antique store. And I love it. I don't think it's on Airbnb or Expedia. To my knowledge, you have to call them to make a reservation. It's very old school. I like it. And then there's the Buffalo Cafe. That's the only cafe in town. The building, I guess, is from 1901. And then that's the building there that has the political souvenirs. And that's it. A few shops, a granary there. And this is Plains, Georgia. I don't think much has changed since the 70s when he was president. Such a pretty town. All right, we're looking at some stores here in Plains. There's a few stores, about 4 or 5. And this one, I love that. It has the old Carter's Warehouse sign up there. And I love that picture of him there with the peanuts. And this is really interesting. So it's the old Carter Peanut Warehouse. In 1903, intended as a hotel, the building housed retail services on the ground floor. The Wise brothers used this location until the 1920s. Okay, so this is the important stuff. In 1934, Earl Carter owned and operated a peanut business, and the Earl Carter Insurance Agency from this location. Earl Carter ran this business until his death in 1953. Jimmy Carter returned home from the Navy to run the peanut warehouse at this location until 1961. And from this building, Jimmy Carter launched his senatorial and gubernatorial campaigns. Wow. And there's an old picture there. So from this building, it's a cute store. They sell everything peanuts in there. So from this building is where Jimmy Carter's father ran the peanut wholesale business, warehouse business. And this is where Jimmy Carter started his political career, right here. He used it as a campaign office. And now it's Bobby Salter's Plain Peanuts and General Store. Love it. And that's a nice picture there. Jimmy Carter with the peanuts. Love it. Plains peanuts and a president. So we're inside the Plains Pharmacy, which dates back to the early 1900s. There used to be a hospital on the second floor, and the pharmacy was on the first floor. And the pharmacy is still here. That's great. Throughout the town, you see, they call it the Rosalind Carter Butterfly Trail. And that is a charity that she started. To be honest, I don't know much about it, but the Butterfly Trail is throughout Plains. And that looks like that's a charity that she started. They were a couple that really believed in giving back, that's for sure. Cute old pharmacy. And this is another marker for the Rosalind Carter Butterfly Trail. And I guess it says the mission of the trail is to promote the full life cycle of butterflies common in this area with a special emphasis on the monarch. And the Butterfly Trail begins at their home. That's nice. And they have a plaque here with the history of the Plains Pharmacy, which has been here since the early 1900s. Isn't that great? And it's still a pharmacy.